Coming up, a groundbreaking ceremony for a new Tzu Chi Hospital was held in Jakarta, Indonesia. Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team organized the first volunteer training seminar in Nepal. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. The groundbreaking ceremony for the Tzu Chi Hospital in Jakarta, Indonesia was held this past Sunday at the local Tzu Chi grounds. It celebrated the first Tzu Chi hospital outside of Taiwan and one that will also feature a stem cell center. To mark the historical moment, Dharma masters from Jingsi boat and the director at Tzu Chi's medical mission flew to Indonesia, where they were joined by local dignitaries and Tzu Chi volunteers from 6 different countries.
Penyekapan pertama, melindungi kehidupan.
At the Tzu Chi grounds in Jakarta, Indonesia, the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Tzu Chi hospital has kicked off.
Tepuk tangannya meriah.
Local dignitaries, including the governor of Jakarta and the commander of the Indonesian Armed Forces, were joined by entrepreneurs, Dharma masters of the Jingsi abode, representatives from Tzu Chi's medical mission, and volunteers from 6 different countries, as all came to witness this historical moment.
I hope this general hospital will go on to help save lives. As the capital of Indonesia, citizens turn to Jakarta for their medical needs because we have the best medical service available.
Demonstrating the beauty of unity, students of the local Tzu Chi school transformed into the majestic Thousand Hands Buddha to honor the occasion. The commander of the country's armed forces also took to the stage to show his appreciation for Tzu Chi's humanitarian work.
I want to express my gratitude and respect for Tzu Chi's volunteers. Tzu Chi has done much regarding the provision of humanitarian aid. I very much identify with what Master Zeng Yan has said: inspire earnest integrity in people, to create blessings in life. That is our common goal.
The new hospital hopes to follow the footsteps of the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital in Taiwan and build a stem cell center to raise the quality of medical service one step further.
Currently, not one hospital in Indonesia is capable of treating leukemia. But after our hospital is completed, we will begin to build a bone marrow registry.
More than 1,000 people have shown up today to show their support. Hopefully, when the hospital is completed in 2018, it will go a long way to helping the sick in Indonesia. To make their guests and visiting Dharma family feel right at home for the groundbreaking ceremony, Jakarta's Tzu Chi volunteers have been preparing for the last 10 days. The president of the Tinkering Tzu Chi School personally led some 30 volunteers in tidying up the Jingsi Hall.
We must put forth our best efforts for our Dharma family and welcome them to Jakarta sincerely. We must make every one of them feel right at home.
Indonesia di Jakarta gitu.
Over at the dormitory, beddings to accommodate over 200 visiting volunteers have been prepared.
Sehingga mereka merasa emang.
Whenever our Dharma family comes to visit, we feel so honored. To do all this is our responsibility as hosts. This place is a home to all Tzu Chi volunteers.
Satu keluarga.
The volunteers' thoughtfulness can be seen at every corner. Decorations are simple but emanate familiar warmth.
We have touched up the place with truth, goodness, and beauty. We want the President of Indonesia and all our guests to feel right at home whenever they visit the Indonesia Tzu Chi chapter.
Among the visiting guests are volunteers and entrepreneurs from the Philippines. To share in this joyous moment and also to learn more on how their counterparts have carried out Tzu Chi's missions locally, the group from the Philippines arrived 2 days earlier.
In fact, we always look up to Tzu Chi Indonesia. And by bringing them here, we hope to awaken that goodness in their heart And we hope to follow Indonesia and the Philippines, also put up schools, put up hospitals. That is our dream.
I will put it out in the Philippines. Yes, of course. Okay. I will wait for the timing, and we have so many sections.
Pretty much all of Jakarta's volunteers have been mobilized for this occasion, and thanks to them, the event concluded on a perfect note.
Indonesia is the world's fourth most populous country with an estimated total population of over 240 million people. However, the country not only lags behind in terms of medical resources, there's also a shortage of hospitals. Currently, most hospitals in Indonesia are overcrowded and much of the medical equipment is in need of replacement. To help improve healthcare services in the country, in 2013, the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter began plans to construct a hospital in the capital of Jakarta, which is estimated to be completed in 2018. In our next report, let's learn about some of the features in the upcoming Tzu Chi Hospital.
Construction work is ongoing at the Tzu Chi Indonesia grounds in Pantai Indah Kapuk. This is where Tzu Chi will be opening its first overseas hospital.
The purpose of building a hospital here is to not only improve healthcare services, but promote humanistic medicine in Indonesia. We also hope to treat patients' illnesses as well as their hearts.
Situated next to the Jingsi Hall, the entire hospital grounds will occupy 2.68 hectares of land, with a 21-story hospital building covering close to 10,000 square meters of space. This 528-bed hospital will also become the first hospital in Indonesia to provide bone marrow transplants.
There are no bone marrow transplant facilities here in Indonesia, so patients in need of a transplant have to either go to Singapore or other countries for transplant surgeries. We hope that by establishing a bone marrow transplant facility at the Indonesia Tzu Chi Hospital, patients don't have to go through the trouble of going overseas for surgery, where they will have to stay for at least a year.
After the completion of the Jingsi Hall in 2013, Tzu Chi volunteers began planning for the construction of the Indonesia Tzu Chi Hospital and have outsourced the design and planning to an architecture firm in Japan. The design not only focuses on providing abundant natural light, the structure will also be quake resistant.
The Japanese architecture firm we are working with ranks first in terms of hospital design in Japan. They take on about 2 hospital projects per year. And since quality is our top priority, we decided to outsource this project to them.
Apart from providing good facilities for patients, volunteers also hope to nurture a high-quality medical team. Since 2013, the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter has introduced a series of training programs for nursing staff and also established employee dormitories at the Tengkareng DaAi village.
Before the completion of the hospital, we hope to first finish the construction of the employee dormitories for our nursing staff, because human resources are far more important than hardware facilities. We hope to bring them peace of mind. After a long day at work, they may return to their living quarters and get sufficient rest. I believe they will be able to maximize their services to the patients this way.
In addition to employee dormitories, apartments will also be constructed behind the hospital to accommodate some 1,250 doctors. The entire project is estimated to be completed by 2018, after which it will begin to bring top-quality medical service to the people of Indonesia.
On the island of Nias in Indonesia, team members of the Medan area conducted 2 free clinics in partner hospitals, tending to mostly farmers and fishermen. Meanwhile, volunteers also tended to the health of refugees from Myanmar.
Denied citizenship in Myanmar, the Rohingyas people risked their lives to flee to Indonesia to seek a better future.
Last week, most of them were suffering from diarrhea, stomach issues, headaches, or even skin disease. Maybe it's because they have been directly exposed to the sun for so long during their journey at sea.
Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized 17 medical personnel to head to the 2 areas where the refugees are currently being held. With the assistance of one refugee who understands English, the free clinic gets underway. Tzu Chi volunteers also help a mother change her baby's diaper to ease the mother's worries.
Banyak anak-anak.
Many of the children have contracted skin diseases and the adults are suffering from diarrhea. Seeing them so helpless and sick really makes me think of many things.
Before leaving, volunteers hand out protective masks and other daily necessities to safeguard the refugees' health for the time being. Meanwhile, team members have also arrived in Nias to help.
Yayasan Buddha Tzu Chi Cabang Medan.
This is the fourth time Tzu Chi Medan chapter has visited Nias to hold a free clinic. We began to take notice of East Java's health issues in 2014. This time, we brought dental, along with our regular medical services of ophthalmology, ENT, and dermatology.
The free clinic held at a local hospital in Gunung Sitori faced language barriers, as many of the patients don't speak Indonesian, as well as frequent electricity outages. Despite all the difficulties, doctors were determined to help a young patient with cataracts regain his vision.
Cita-citaku mau jadi dokter mata.
At another free clinic at North Nias's local hospital, the area's only medical doctor was inspired to do more for society after participating in the Tzu Chi Free Clinic.
I've already signed up to join the Tzu Chi volunteers. I like the foundation very much. Team of doctors have already explained to me the basics of Tzu Chi.
Here in Nias, residents are in much need of health education. Thus, volunteers hope that through these free clinics, residents can not only get their health problems looked at, but also learn to take care of their own health in the days to come.
At times, the challenges life brings can be almost overwhelming. However, with a little love by one side, anything can be overcome. 4 years ago, a fire broke out in the home of Ms. Jing from Miaoli, Taiwan, destroying almost everything the family had. In that same year, Ms. Jing's husband passed away from cirrhosis of the liver, leaving her and her adopted son to fend for themselves. Just when the mother-son pair were at a loss at what to do, Tzu Chi volunteers walked into their lives. Last year, Ms. Jing faced a recurrence of her leukemia. However, despite her illness and with the love of the Tzu Chi volunteers, she continues to work hard in order to provide her son with a better life.
Making sure that her home is always clean and organized, Miss Jing cherishes everything in her life now.
No amount of words can express my gratitude to you.
4 years ago, a fire almost burned Jing's house to the ground. Tzu Chi volunteers assisted the family with repairs and new furniture.
Tzu Chi volunteers were the first to reach out to us. They came to our rescue even before the township office got to us.
However, their happiness did not last long, as Miss Jing's husband passed away from cirrhosis of the liver soon after, leaving her and her adopted son to fend for themselves.
At least I have a goal to work towards, and that keeps me going. Without my son, I cannot imagine what my life would be like now.
Just when she thought life had taken a turn for the better, Jing found out that her leukemia had reoccurred.
I was first diagnosed 15 years ago, but my husband was still ill at the time, so I never really paid attention to my own health.
Amid her chemotherapy treatments, Jing continues to work in order to support her son.
She still manages to support her family and is unwilling to give in to fate. She wants to give her son a better life. She's a very strong woman raising a son on her own. She also did a good job of educating him.
As Jing grows her own bamboos and plums, during harvest season, she always sets aside some for the volunteers to take home as a gesture of her gratitude.
She told us that she does not have the means to contribute financially to Tzu Chi to help the disadvantaged. She says she can only give some of her homegrown produce. Her kind intentions really move us.
You have given us so much love. You Tzu Chi sisters always take the time to come visit me and my son.
For Jin and her son, Tzu Chi volunteers are their companions, friends, and family, helping them regain the courage to face the days ahead.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team held the first volunteer training seminar in Nepal, which saw the participation of 73 trainees. Many of them were inspired and amazed to learn about the Tzu Chi Foundation's very humble beginning and its ideal of universal love.
As the Tzu Chi volunteers presented the musical adaptation of Sutra of Innumerable Meanings, the Nepalese trainees captured the performance with their mobile phones. 73 of them are attending the first Tzu Chi volunteer training seminar in Nepal.
I have candies here. Okay, candy for you.
From watching the skit, trainees learn about respecting one another. They also watch clips of Tzu Chi's relief work in South Africa and other countries. After learning that, the charity began with 30 housewives making donations to bamboo coin banks every day, they were deeply moved.
The Tzu Chi Foundation was founded by 30 women. The most important point is that it was founded by mothers, so it is an organization filled with love.
A smile is the best way to communicate for Tzu Chi volunteers and has left a deep impression on the trainees.
When the earthquake came, rubbed out our smile also. But when the Tzu Chi Foundation came, we learned we need to help others. At first, we need to smile by ourselves to make others smile.
Thus, the trainees begin to smile again as they work to bring cheer to more people devastated by the recent earthquakes and plant the seeds of love in all corners of Nepal.
Recently, Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team in Nepal held a free clinic in the town of Timi, which served 400 residents. Facing limited medical supplies and equipment, nurse Hong Shangqing from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital had to come up with some ingenious solutions.
The dressing covering this Nepalese man's right middle finger has fused together with the wound. Getting it removed will not be easy. Luckily, Hong Shangqing has a solution.
The dressing is already very filthy. Rinsing it with water might worsen the infection. It's a good thing that we brought plenty of IV kits, so I was able to turn one into a rinsing kit.
Hong was able to cleanse the man's wound by using the saline solution from the IV kit. The man accidentally cut himself while repairing homes. After getting stitched up at a hospital, he couldn't afford to go back to redress his wounds. And thus, Tzu Chi's free clinic in Timi became his solution. Hong also had to use a rubber band in place of a tourniquet while dressing the wound. After all, medical supplies are hard to come by in the quake-torn Nepal. Next up is a senior who suffered a stroke and walks barefoot.
Since I can't make a pair of slippers for him, the least I can do is make something to protect his feet. So I decided to make something that resembles a pair of sandals.
Hong decided to make a pair of sandals by splitting a PET bottle down the middle. Afraid the cut edges might injure the senior, Hong first experimented on himself.
I tied 2 lines on each half. I think at least he can walk with them. But I'm not sure if he knows how to wear them, since resources are very limited. Just got to make do with what we have.
Though just a nurse, Hong is doing the best he can to ease the suffering in Nepal.
Yeah, try it, use it and try it.
最主要还是要感谢这些大医院，我们只是个助手，他们才是真正能够协助病患暂时缓解痛苦的主角。
Knowing that hand washing is one of the most effective ways to prevent the spread of infection and illness, a group of medical students in Nepal have seized their weekends to promote hand washing to children currently taking shelter in 10 communities. But first, we meet some young volunteers who have been volunteering as translators on behalf of Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team at the Sri Mangal Devi boarding school and the Lipali 10 community in Bhaktapur.
Yes.
When away from home, one can always count on friends. For Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team, their friends are these children. Children receive volunteer vests from team members determined to volunteer on behalf of Tzu Chi.
I want to join Tzu Chi volunteer to help them because they help us.
This is Anu, whose cousin was severely injured in the tremors. To thank Tzu Chi's disaster relief and medical team for treating her cousin, Anu decided to volunteer as a translator.
The master is very good. I want to be the first seed to make our whole country strong.
These young volunteers are the team members' eyes and ears at the disaster zone.
No matter here is really hot, but still is good.
Among the young volunteers is Sony Kaito, who not only helps quake survivors measure their blood pressure, but also listens to their problems.
Sister told you. Why sister know how to do this?
She's health assistant.
Thanks to the assistance of these selfless young volunteers, the bond between Tzu Chi volunteers and locals is now closer than ever. Meanwhile, the Mansouri 10 community in Bhaktapur, a group of medical students along with Tzu Chi volunteers, are here to promote the practice of hand washing to children. Medical students take their weekends to spread the practice of hand hygiene to make sure children living in 10 communities stay healthy.
If the hand is dirty, we know that we suffer from various types of waterborne and foodborne diseases. So hand washing is very important. So that's why I was teaching for this local children just to do hand washing so that they can teach their parents which are staying in the tent so that that disease process can be intervened in middle.
This group of medical students hopes to use what they have learned in school to help their fellow countrymen because they know that volunteers from abroad will have to leave Nepal sooner or later.
We've been doing that since the earthquake struck our country, and we've been doing now, and we'll also be doing in the future. Because after 2 to 3 months, all the countries member will be going, and it's we who is always staying here.
Washing hands is a simple yet effective way to fight gastrointestinal illness and the spread of infectious disease. In the days and weeks to come, these medical students promise to continue to use their expertise to assist their fellow countrymen. We go to Singapore at the end of the show, where director of the Tzu Chi Philippines chapter and the country's entrepreneurs travel there to learn how local Tzu Chi volunteers carried out the organization's missions locally. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.